We're dubbing this Art Appreciation Day here on Jamaica Magazine because why not? It's true, we live in a world with many ugly things like crime that can depress our spirits. But there is also beauty, and today we want to encourage you to stop and celebrate that beauty, whether they are naturally forming in nature or spring from the minds of our fellow citizens. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for making it JIS.
Calling all Jamaicans. Come share your views on how the government can improve greater access to drinking water. The Ministry of Water, Land Environment and Climate Change, MWLECC, wants to ensure that you get the opportunity to speak up on the draft water sector policy and implementation plan. The Courtly Hotel is the place to be on April 30 at 6 p.m. The consultations are being staged by the ministry in collaboration with Global Water Partnership Caribbean. 100% access is the target, so come, speak out and get heard. To find out more about the water sector policy and implementation plan, visit the ministry's website, mwh.gov.jm, or call 926-1590.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
We like dancing, dance 'cause we are free.
In the case of Colonel John Colbeck, well, his name perseveres. Amidst the 1,000-acre expanse he received, he built this.
We'll be getting to those in a few minutes, but right now, Kerry-Ann Smith has some important news developments. After that, a quick break, then we head to Jamaica House for the latest from the office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Kerry-Ann Smith and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 28. Government will be covering the cost for the first phase of the National Animal Identification and Traceability System to ensure that all cattle are tagged within a year. Agriculture and Fisheries Minister Roger Clark says the funds will be sourced from the Inter-American Development Bank.
This is our contribution, and we're going to be paying for the tagging of every animal now. Later on, the progenies and all that, you won't have to pay to do it. But if we give you the start, that is something that you must continue.
The initiative is part of measures to tackle predial larceny and will begin rolling out in July of this year. The Ministry's Veterinary Services Division will carry out the tagging in what's called a sweep fashion, parish by parish. Senior Veterinary Officer Dr. Candice Phipps says the project will be supported by legislation such as the Animal Diseases and Importation Act.
By law, all animals must be tagged by 8 months or before leaving the farm. Animals cannot move from one point to the next without 3 things: ear tags, 1 in each ear, passport, and they must have notified the Veterinary Services AIT unit that they're intending to move that cow.
The program should strengthen government's ability to trace animals from farm to slaughterhouse. Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton has welcomed the introduction of a new software development and information consultancy firm to the island. The US-based company Medillion Incorporation specializes in digital healthcare innovation, and Minister Hilton says their expansion to Jamaica is due to the island's growing global appeal as a site for information and communications technology. He says his ministry is acting on measures to further capitalize on that.
We will, principally through the work of JAMPRO, expand knowledge of Jamaica beyond that of a tourism destination to be considered as a viable destination for ICT investments.
A new youth information center is to be built at Watson Taylor Park in Lucy, Hanover. Youth and Culture Minister Lisa Hanna signed the $40 million contract with the DR Food Construction Limited recently. Funding is coming from a loan provided by the Inter-American Development Bank, and it should be completed in the next 7 months.
We want to say that it is going to be a space that we know will redound to the best interest of not only Hanover, but certainly even surrounding areas.
This will be the 11th such facility across the island, providing a place where young people can access information and receive training in a number of key areas. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson is calling on Jamaicans to ensure they are fully vaccinated ahead of the Football World Cup in Brazil this summer. The minister says adults and children need to be protected given the increased travel expected leading up to and during the soccer tournament. Dr. Ferguson was speaking against the background of Vaccination Week in the Americas, which is being observed from April 26 to May 2 under the theme Vaccination Your Best Shot. Jamaica joins more than 180 countries in observing the week. Jamaica and the other countries of the Caribbean and Latin American region are leaders in the fight against vaccine-preventable diseases, having eliminated many of them from their shores. And finally, Information Minister Senator Sandra Faulkner has underscored the importance of the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, and the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica, PBCJ, to the communication function of the government.
For those persons who believe that you can cut one or cut the other, I don't think they fully understand the roles that the different agencies play. The PBCJ, which is our public broadcaster, serves a very different role from what the GIS plays. The GIS is a government information arm, and the PBCJ deals with such things as culture and things of public interest.
The Information Minister was speaking on Thursday during a tour of PBCJ's facilities, where she commended the team for the excellent work they have been doing while lauding the use of state-of-the-art digital equipment. She revealed the plans to ensure that persons can access the PBCJ station without cable connectivity. In the meantime, Minister Faulkner has praised both the JIS and PBCJ for carrying out their mandates effectively within a tight fiscal space. Her comments came on the heels of the US-based Social Progress Imperative Organization's publication stating that Jamaica was ahead of the United States when it comes to communication and access to information. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Carrie Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
There'll be a better tomorrow. 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 There'll be a day. There'll be a way. There'll come a time to sing a brand new song. There'll be a better tomorrow.
Prime Minister to address Parliament on Tuesday during the budget debate. High praises for athletes who participated in the 2014 Carifta Games. And
when you look at the PBCJ and you look at the GIS, there are two very important arms of the government.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller will make her contribution to the budget debate tomorrow, Tuesday, April 29. During her presentation to Parliament, Mrs. Simpson-Miller is expected to provide a summary of the government's achievements in the previous financial year, as well as plans for the 2014-2015 fiscal year. The Prime Minister is also expected to announce plans relating to housing solutions for Jamaicans, as during the throne speech, Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen indicated that the National Housing Trust would complete over 2,000 housing solutions during this financial year. Mrs. Simpson-Miller has since reiterated that her government is committed to improving the quality of life for all Jamaicans.
We are a great people, and everyone must be given the opportunity of a comfortable environment to work, to live, and to raise their families.
This was Minister with responsibility for sport Natalie Nita Headley giving a pep talk to the participants in the 2014 Caribbean Free Trade Agreement Carifta Games prior to their departure from Jamaica.
Go to Martinique. Give off your very best. The Carifta Games is one that we have dominated for the most part in the 42 years, now 43 years, and you're going to dominate again this year. So I can claim it from now. But most of all, that you represent this country with the greatest of pride.
And that was exactly what the participants did. For the 30th consecutive year, Jamaica dominated the games, topping the junior athletic event with 88 medals, 42 gold, 34 silver, and 12 bronze. Minister Nita Headley said the performance showcased Jamaica's talent and commitment to cementing the country's top-ranking status in the sport.
And a most proud moment for this small country with an under 3 million population called Jamaica. The best little country in the world. It doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter how much they criticize, it doesn't matter how much they want to be like us. We are just us. We are special. We are just who we are. We are Jamaicans.
She added that Jamaica's performance at the Carifta Games was an excellent foundation for the country's participation in the Youth Olympics in China later this year.
I am very, very proud that both the GIS and the PBCJ have really modernized the way they operate.
Information Minister Senator Sandria Faulkner lauding the work of the Jamaica Information Service JIS and the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica PBCJ. She said both entities played a very important role in the government's communication process.
For those persons who believe that you can cut one or cut the other, I don't think they fully understand the roles that the different agencies play. The PBCJ, which is our public broadcaster, serves a very different role from what the GIS plays. The GIS is a government information arm, and the PBCJ deals with such things as culture and things of public interest.
The Information Minister was speaking last week during a tour of PBCJ's facilities, where she pointed to plans to have the station operate as a free-to-air entity so that more persons could watch its content. She also pointed to the synergy between JIS and the PBCJ.
When you look at the GIS website, for example, Jamaicans from across the world, they have the ability to see Parliament via this live streaming, which comes to them through the PBCJ, and it's a hand-in-glove operation. It's a teamwork, it's a team spirit, and it actually plays into the plans that we have for down the road.
And finally, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller is continuing to solidify Jamaica's relationship with its international partners. Last week, she met with the United Nations Women Representative Christine Arab and Executive Secretary for the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, Alicia Barcena. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next week for the latest from the Office of the Prime Minister.
Have you been on a tour of the Institute of Jamaica recently? If you haven't, you've been missing out. Take a look.
Welcome to the Institute of Jamaica.
This 135-year-old institution is an agency of the Ministry of Youth and Culture. Its foremost task is to establish and manage Jamaica's museums and galleries, among them the newly renamed National Museum of Jamaica, the Natural History Museum of Jamaica, Liberty Hall, the People's Museum, Jamaica Music Museum, the National Gallery of Jamaica, and the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, or the Jamaica Memory Bank.
We also have a museum in Hanover. We have a museum at Fort Charles in Port Royal. And we are about to open the National Museum Jamaica West in the Montego Bay Cultural Center, which was formerly the Montego Bay Civic Center.
The Program Coordination Division operates the junior centers, focusing primarily on developing the cultural and other arts development of young children. And importantly,
IOJ oversees the collection, preservation and display of artifacts for our education and enjoyment.
We think a lot of people don't really know that we have a lot of treasures here at the Institute. In addition to the Arts in School exhibition that is up, there is a Rastafari exhibition that has been running since last July, and it goes until July this year before a portion of it will be moved to Montego Bay. The Discovery Room is up, and also they will be able to see a 3D model of what the new Natural History Museum will look like when it is completed. The Music Museum has an exhibition on equal rights and justice that is up. We have about 17,000 artifacts in the National Collection that is under the management of the National Museum Jamaica. The National Gallery has several permanent galleries. We have a collection of Taino artifacts at the National Museum Jamaica. We have a collection of musical instruments and very important artifacts for our Jamaica Music Museum collection. We are trying to encourage people to see the museum as a very important resource, not just of history, but to help us to understand who we are as a people and to help us to chart our way forward as a people.
So I don't know about you, but now I want a real-life tour of the IOJ and its many museums. And I hear the management is doing several things to make that easier for more of us. We make room for the important FSC Minute right now, and then it's back to the Institute.
Welcome to the FSC Minute. I am Nadine Newsom. Today we continue to explore issues related to insurance, and my guest is Joan Walker, Manager of Insurance with the FSC. Welcome to the FSC Minute, Joan.
Thank you, Nadine.
Joan, as a potential policyholder, what can I do to ensure that my motor claim will be honored when I submit it to my insurance company?
Well, Nadine, first of all policyholders should ensure that they understand the provisions in their contracts. They should also ensure that they do not violate any of the terms in the contract. For example, who is allowed to drive the motor vehicle. Also, it would help if they are aware of the steps and the documentations necessary for the companies to process their claims efficiently.
And could I place my insurance coverage with any insurance agent in the industry?
Insurance business should be placed only with registered sales representatives who are registered at the FSC. And sales representatives are registered for specific classes of business. Hence, you should always ensure that the sales rep who is negotiating your policy is registered for that type or class of business.
For the FSC Minute, I am Nadine Newsom.
Come May 3rd, we will be opening on Saturday. The hours will be between 10 and 3. We will have a number of events which we will plan periodically to enhance the Saturday experience here. We're looking at setting up date nights for the young adults. We're going to be having a series of movies that we will be showing as well in the afternoon, and several activities for the children. We do have a challenge with parking, but on a Saturday there will be no problems with parking. There will be parking on East Street, Tower Street. They don't have to worry. It's a nice, quiet place. We will have security, of course, but it is quite safe. We are planning in collaboration with the Port Authority to have an important symposium around the logistics hub. The focus of the symposium, though, will be about the cultural dimensions of a logistics hub. Coming up in May, we're having a very important symposium called HUSH, and this symposium will be focusing on children with disabilities. Next year, we're hoping to start an electronic version of the Jamaica Journal, which will be targeting young people primarily. But in the meantime, we are on a subscription drive, and so we're encouraging persons to subscribe to the Jamaica Journal. We charge basically $400 for adults, and we charge for our tours. But as you know, we are a not-for-profit organization, so our intention is not to make money, but we do want to attract more Jamaicans to museums and to the programs that the Institute of Jamaica has to offer, because we feel that it will benefit all Jamaicans.
IOJ is not the only government institution dedicated to preserving Jamaica's rich heritage and culture. The Jamaica National Heritage Trust has a role, one that entices us to go on a trail, a costling trail.
This is Taina country.
This a Rasta country.
This is Aki country.
Jerk country.
Wood country.
Water country.
This is diverse country, a place where four cultures and some met and melded, concocting a never-ending potpourri of adventures.
Here's the story of the British five-star Army General.
For uprooting the lands formerly known as Jamaica from under the Spanish, Major Generals of the British Army that invaded Jamaica in 1655 were presented with hefty land parcels as reward. The vast acreage doled out to one Colonel John Colbeck, who, after the heist, retired to a placid life as House Speaker, is situated just outside Old Harbour in St. Catherine.
He was granted over 1,000 acres here.
The memory of many of the Army men who got lands as laurels lives on through their names, which are today mostly attached to a mere morsel of the original lot. But in the case of Colonel John Colbeck, well, his name perseveres in that and more. Amidst the 1,000-acre expanse he received, he built this.
Well, it's big, and it's really big. It's a bit interesting, on how they built the stuff. Yeah, it's big.
Or did he really?
There's question about when it was built and who actually built it. But some people say it might have been built in the late 17th century, which might have made him the builder.
Another sketchy bit of architectural record suggests it's of early 18th century Georgian mold. And if that indeed were the case, then, well, John Colbeck would have long been resting in his tunnel crypt, a 2-mile-long passageway where not only his body, but all his gold is rumored to have been interred. Colbeck Castle was evidently once the center of thriving plantation life in that section of the parish. The property boasts a number of distinct relics from the era. If the facade still allowed, one could enjoy an expansive view of Old Harbour Bay, 4 miles away from the castle's second floor. Its height, it said, was an armament against sea-based ambush from English enemies. Unlucky were the Spaniards not to have discovered and built their own fort at Colbeck first. Don't you think?
Colbeck, along with 30 other monuments and sites, are operated as attractions by the JNHT. Some have tour guides on site to relate their history, but feel free to conceive your own version. Right now, we're going to borrow a Friday staple, because what would an Art Appreciation Day be without music and dance?
One good thing about music, when it hits you, I say one good thing about music, when it hits you, feel okay.
And that's exactly what's been happening to the kids we've encountered. Children as young as 3 years old have been bitten by the music bug.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Music, it's everywhere. It's used in all aspects of human existence, so it's no wonder children would be drawn to it.
Music specifically is a great way for them to learn new things, to not just about music, but just about also social skills, being in a class.
Knowing new music.
And knowing new music, that's right. And also to appreciate different types of music, getting exposure to that at a very young age. That's why they're here.
Instructors at the Music House have a firm belief in the power of the art form.
I think music is a very important part of anyone's life. It can help with other parts of cognitive development, as well as it's a good way to have another alternative in terms of a career, bringing enjoyment to yourself, just the relaxing aspect of it, as well as sharing music with others.
The discipline of learning an instrument on your own, the intense concentration can only be of benefit. And it must be good for the brain. And in fact, it has been proven to be excellent for the brain.
We like dancing, dance 'cause we are free.
Edna Manley College's junior department has that covered. Since 1966, the School of Dance has been tapping into and nurturing the moves of little ones as young as 3 years old. Trained teachers and teachers in training instruct 120 children in several dance forms, including ballet, traditional, jazz, dancehall, and modern techniques.
Our emphasis is on sharing the music and not necessarily on exams. We do not believe in exam pressure, and so there's more fun. And we've found that to be very successful.
And
allows for them to develop their memory skills, their physical skills, concentration skills, their people skills, and it has the ability for fun. They're not only creating and being creative in an environment with a teacher or a facilitator, but they're having fun doing it. And you find that our children enjoy that process tremendously.
Goodbye again. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Arts Page.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye again.
Here, unfortunately, is where we part ways today. It's been a pleasure. If you want to talk to us about anything in the program and you think the internet is cool, connect with us through our Twitter, Facebook, and email accounts. We're also streaming on YouTube and on our very own website at gis.gov.jm. I'm Edwin Atkinson, encouraging you to find and embrace the beauty that life has to offer. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.